What's up, guys? Don't mind my current situation. This is just what we have to work with at the moment. This is currently our everything space. So usually I put this behind you guys for what we're doing today. Has to be behind me, unfortunately. So that being said, this is something I've actually wanted to do for a little while now. This is basically going to be a critique and pointing out the errors that I make to either try to improve on them or to maybe point out some things to you guys that you may have been unaware of that you're doing yourselves. Or, like in the first clip, more of situational things that aren't, you get what I'm saying. This is just going to be a critique of some clips I've had, things that you guys haven't seen as far as full gameplays and stuff. I'm just going to go through some stuff and find some particular things that I think people might get some benefit out of, or just to critique myself in some way, whether it be for my own benefit or yours. So we're going to hop into the first clip and we'll see what we got. Okay, so this first clip is me and Wesley. We're moving down basically a wood box. Up here, we're aware that there are towers. There's also a tower in the middle, so if we're not careful, they can see down on top of us. But we're going to basically move down this wall.
Yeah.
And you can see there's netting here. So I guess in our minds, we're thinking, hey, okay, this isn't that much of a threat point because, like, we can't shoot through this. Poor thought. So we're going to try to slink down this wall, avoid the tower at the top. And sure enough, right there, if we can move this back slightly, there's someone here. He sees him, I see him, and he shoots over the net. So, again, in our heads, maybe we're thinking this isn't that big of a deal. In reality, one of us should have been holding this point, period, regardless of what we thought. There's also a door here, so ideal scenario, one of us on the top, one of us on the bottom. It's the nature of hindsight, I guess. But so he's firing, and we can get flush against this wall. Now, this basically takes this guy out of play as far as we're concerned for the most part. I don't think he can get out of this side of the tower here. And there's clearly no way we can really counter this. Which I think we think about it, and then it's like, okay, we just got to get out of here. So I turn, hop the tree, and here is where the main error of this clip particularly lies, I think. Right here. I should not be standing here. One, I'm in the way. Two, we know he's there. We know he's in a bad spot. We need to help him get out of that spot. So, again, hindsight and all, I should have, granted, I was not prepared for him to move this way. This is a scenario where, hey, I'm going to move, cover me, and we do that. I was not prepared for him to come at me, and he gets hit on the way out while I'm just standing there doing nothing. Again, hindsight, should not have done that. The way that it was done, I should have been covering his move backwards, since I was in a safer spot and I could have at least put shots on that net to keep him there, if that makes any sort of sense. Again, more of a situational thing than a fundamental thing, but also part of a fundamental thing. Something that should have been done would have stopped him from getting out. Okay, this is actually a good example, and looking at this now, it's kind of funny. This is, I believe, a game that you guys have seen, but I'm going to point this out again anyways, because it was just dumb on my part, and again, resulted on somebody getting out. So he's watching, this direction, right? He's watching right. I'm watching the left cross of the field. And here shortly, I believe, anyways, there will be a guy coming from this direction moving left, right here. I see him turning left. I think part of the reason I didn't say anything is because you can see the tip of this barrier right here. I believe that is basically another one of these double V things. I thought that he did not have a line on that angle, so I didn't say anything. Immediately gets taken out, when I easily could have called that there was a guy back left. More of a communication thing than anything. Again, hindsight, you think, okay, that guy's not a problem. He has a problem. So better to communicate it rather than to stay quiet. There is another point here. Which I think... So this field, they usually play headshots only. I don't know. Okay, right here. So was it this guy's fault? I don't know. But right here, he clearly gets hit as the magazines go flying everywhere. But he peeks me again and tag him. Clear as day. And in my head, I'm like, okay, he's out of play. Which there were respawns. Back to spawn and come back. Which, you know, he could have gone. Fair enough. But in my head, I'm like, okay, I just got this guy. I'm going to go ahead and try to take this angle and look diagonally left across the field from a place maybe somebody wouldn't think. And here we go. But, sure enough, without that much time coming back, who comes back to get me is the same guy from behind that barricade. So, whether he went back to spawn and just came straight back to that spot, who knows? Point being, in this critique, is try to keep some situational awareness even if you think something is clear. Unless you've already passed that point and it's completely behind you and your spawn, pay attention to what's in front of you, even if you think it's clear. Because for all I know, that guy could have gone back to spawn and he could have come back. But I wouldn't know that because I wasn't paying attention. So keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Things will probably end up better for you. Okay, this clip kind of feeds into what I was just talking about in a way. There's a guy here in this little thing, which at this point they did not know that I was right here. And right here, based on what I could see, I'm pretty sure that I'd hit this guy. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, it kind of looks like he flinched to be hit and was like, oh, I'm going to move. Not sure, so I'm going to try to scooch to the right here. To get a different angle into that building, because again, I never saw him call out. So I'm moving, and about the time that I get moved, I just get lit up. So should I have shot and moved left? Again, hindsight, yes, I probably should have. I should have taken my shots, got the hell out. But in reality, what I should have done was probably low crouched and, you know, crouched while keeping, you know, that angle held as I moved. Probably would have worked out a little bit better for me. But in the end, I got bested. Whether I hit the dude or not, that's what happened. Probably should have held that building while I stepped to the right versus just assuming that I'm safe because I just put shots there and then moving. But, you know, betterment. Keep your gun pointed forward is, I guess, the lesson of this. Hold your points even if you know that, or even if you think that they're cleared. Okay. This one is also a similar, kind of a similar vein as far as gun forward. This is a capture the flag game mode, and at this point I have the flag got from these guys here. This is one building, one more building to the right is where we have to get it. So at this point we're full enemy territory, which is where this main point is going to come into play. So we need to get right there. So they're covering me. I'm moving here. Enemies in this building. Take this corner. We're clear. I'm holding this. This is the right play. At this point, all I had was this pistol left. Not the greatest thing in the world to only have left, but it is what it is. I should have held this. And the second I gave this up, I was probably dead anyways, unless I had more of my team get here. And sure enough, here people come. I saw shots start coming, and I know at this point there are speedball players on the other team, which is probably why I dipped this corner, because if they're shooting while they're coming around the corner, probably going to get hit anyways. But the trade-off to that is we could have traded. I'm out. He's also out most of the time. most people are in agreement regardless of who they think shot first. You both just walk out. So the second I gave up that corner, I was dead. In reality, I should have held this corner and traded with this person, so at least they had one less person already in this building so that my team could have moved to get the flag. So in this scenario, this close to where enemies are, the second I get this corner, I need to hold this corner until more people get here. Wrong call in the wrong place, basically. Not saying you always have to hold a corner. If you come to a corner, hold that corner. But in this scenario, this close to where people are, better choice to hold the corner and wait for more people to show up. So, you know, it is what it is. I end up getting taken out by these people coming around this corner, and then they get this building. So, although I do think they still went on to win. So, hey, it ain't all bad. Okay, this is a clip with Wesley, which we ended up just shooting at each other forever. One thing to point out here, holding this corner, this is a pretty big open field. There are definitely people on this sight line here. Whether you're gun up forward looking straight, at least have your eyes on a swivel so you can check with your periph every so often what's going on in that direction if you're going to hold it. Probably should have just scooched back a couple feet so that this wall right here was actually covering me. But at least look with your eyes. But this mainly less of a critique, more of a tip, because I know a lot of people don't use optics and a lot of people are good at not using optics. The main thing that I'm using this for, and this is a perfect example of this, other than a gauge of where things are going for any normal idea of trying to shoot at somebody who's not looking at me, with a wall in front of me, if I'm gun up, I'm looking at my target, in this case, where I think he is. I'm looking at him through the wall, right? And I'm putting my dot on him through the wall, and then I'm leaning completely, or shimmying out. But basically, my goal is to put my dot on him ahead of time, so when I peek, I'm already aimed. I'm not peeking and then trying to get an idea. I'm not just coming out shooting a handful of shots and then gauging. I'm getting an idea of where I'm going to be shooting to begin with. I'm peeking, I'm taking those shots. So, and it happens a lot. Snap shooting, that kind of thing, right? So you peek out, you take your shots, but at least with an optic, if you have the time to sight it, you can get a better idea of where you're going ahead of time. So in this, that's basically what we were just doing to each other. So I'm holding, he's holding. I'm kind of getting my dot sorted before I, you know, move out if, you know, we're trading. So more of a positive, less of a negative in that regard. Don't mind my throat. I'm just dying a little bit. It's fine. This is the last game that we'll probably take a look at for clips. It's probably running a little bit longer. I'm going to try to do multiple episodes of this just to get use out of some of these old things that you guys have not seen. This was, a lot of people for this field. This is a small field. The speedball fields were also closed, so we had a lot of speedball people with us this day. I'm pretty sure this is the day that I'm thinking of. Yeah. So I'm not sure where I could have moved. This is one of those scenarios where you kind of sit forever trying to gauge what's going on around you, and you end up just sitting. So if you're unsure after a certain period of time, just start moving your feet. Move until you know you cannot move anymore. I mean, try to get a gauge of what's going on around in front of you. Talk to people around you, maybe see what's going on. But I've noticed in a lot of the footage I watch, I'll end up pushed good up at the beginning of the game, and then I'll end up just stuck completely. So not the most thrilling thing to watch most of the time, so putting a little more thought into it. At this point, I'm communicating with these guys. There is somebody back right behind this and back right behind these tires. Part of why I didn't want to move is because you get fixated, tunnel vision almost on one person, and you know he's there, so you're going to hold that sight for ages just trying to get one ball to connect. Not the greatest thing, which you can see almost right there. At this point, I had scooted a little too far back. The game had gone on for a little bit at this time. It wasn't too terribly long. Trying to trade these shots over here, and you can kind of see them scoot more to the left, which means my left side's open. And I get tagged in the foot from somewhere to the left, and I think this is where I feel it. And it seemed like a lot. I couldn't see with my mask looking down at my leg like that. And about the time that I'm checking, you know, I end up getting cracked from the left. So, again, be aware of your surroundings. At this point, I'm so tunnel visioned on the people in front of me that, one, I was not moving, and two, I ended up scooting way far left and completely giving up that whole, you know, side of me. Not the whole side. I was still, like, behind it, but, you know, just be aware of where you're moving. Tunnel vision is a terrible, terrible thing, and it happens to all of us because you think, okay, I'm going to hold this corner because we were just trading, and he's going to pop out, and I'm going to be ready for him, and then you just end up standing there for ages. So a balance between this and one of the last points of holding a corner, time and place. So in that scenario, in the previous clips, I was in hot territory. I should have held the corner because that was my best route to take in that scenario. In this scenario, I'm at maybe the 30 to 40, so I'm more close to my team. Head on a swivel, I should have been checking my left. I know a lot of people have a hard time shooting left-handed. I try to do it often, but I also know subconsciously I'd really try to avoid it because I know I'm more prominent on my right. Something to get into. But should have been checking all these angles. That's all I got for this one. Let me know if you guys like this format. Obviously, I had some new stuff made. Really happy with how it came out, actually. Some of the stuff, like the layout and the screen you're looking at right now, I put together. Trying to get more into things I can interact with you guys in. I'll probably start streaming, just playing some games because I don't play super often. And then times like the previous time, which is the footage you're watching now, I just didn't really get anything that I liked or wanted to use for paintball content. Maybe doing this kind of content, I'll be able to get more of that going. But the gaming might be a good way to interact with you guys, answer some questions you might have for me about my gear or whatever, and get some good funny moments with you guys. So that's something I'll probably start doing. Let me know what you thought about this again. And maybe down the road, depending, we could find a way for you guys to send your games in that you maybe want critiqued in some way if you guys enjoy this. So that's all I got for this. I will talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.
The power of the dark side.